Hello, and a warm welcome to This Woman's Work, a space where you can hear and read about some amazing women, the fantastic jobs they do, and the paths that have led them to where they are today. Right, I am here today with Maria. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Michelle.
Could you tell the listener what it is you do for a living?
Yes, I run a cattery. So it's a boarding home for cats whose owners have gone on holiday.
Yeah. Okay, and how long have you been doing that for?
4.5 years now. So 2019, I took it over in March.
Okay, so it already existed and you just sort of...
It did, yeah, and it existed for quite some time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've got to ask, what made you... I mean, we'll talk a bit about what you were doing before that in a minute, but what made you decide to...
I know, it's such a leap from what I was doing. It happened over a cup of coffee.
Right.
And a friend of mine who was running it
okay.
was thinking aloud, and she was having to move county. And she said, oh, God, what am I going to do about the cattery? And I then said aloud, I wonder if I'd be any good at that. And before you knew it, we had a discussion and felt that it was a great opportunity for someone that she knew to take it over, and someone like me that she could trust. And I felt personally, I did give it some thought. It wasn't an immediate decision, but I felt that if I took over a business where I could be in a management position, therefore it could take me perhaps into retirement. So it was more
it's quite strategic.
Very strategic, yes. Yeah. Wow. Because what I was doing before, as a sole trader, I had to work. I couldn't get anyone else in to work for me.
Yes, it's quite restrictive there.
Whereas with the cattery, you could put people in place.
Okay.
So that was the plan.
Okay. Well, in which case then, before we go any further, let's track right back. So, little Maria, school, college, what were you like? What were your interests?
I did go to a lot of schools. My dad was in the forces, so he travelled about quite a lot. And I did go to 11 schools, far too many. So
all in the UK or some abroad?
Some in Germany and some in the UK, north and south.
Right.
So school was a bit of a journey because I was always the new girl.
Yes.
So that was quite tough. But interests-wise, basically whatever was going on in that area or in that school, I would just throw myself into.
Okay.
I was a massive organiser. I used to put on, with my siblings, shows, sort of drama shows, plays, set up sports days for children in summer holidays. Wow. I even set up a school once in the summer holidays and invited people into my bedroom to teach them. Yeah, I don't know what I was like as a teacher, but I was always busy doing something.
Yeah, okay, so keeping yourself very, very busy.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when you left school, did you go on to university?
No. So when I left school, I was living in Blackpool at the time, finishing off my education, but Mum and Dad had already moved on.
Right.
So I was staying with friends, and so I wanted just to be back with the family, so I moved back home.
Yeah. So
there was a gap of a year where I was finishing off my education in Blackpool without the family.
And what, were you sort of 16 at this point? Wow, yeah. Okay. And then so you must have been really independent even at that.
Yeah. I think looking back, it's something that I would never have done with my children.
Right.
Education's been really important for Sam and Grace and stability. But on the other hand, if Mum and Dad had put us into boarding school, we would probably all be saying they should never have put us in boarding school.
Right.
They should have brought us with them. But as a result of the kind of schooling and education that we had, we've all said, all my siblings have said that education is really important, and stability
is really important.
Yeah. So when I finished school, I moved back. I moved to where my mum and dad had just moved to, so it was another new beginning, really.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And that was in Lincoln. That was in Gainsborough, Lincolnshire. So from Blackpool to Gainsborough in Lincolnshire, age 16, starting again, really.
And then what did you do then?
My first job was in an estate agent.
Okay.
And so I worked there for maybe a year. I then, there was another job opening at a local newspaper, a free newspaper. It was called the Gainsborough Journal. And it was part of 4 counties newspaper group. So I went for a job there, got that. And it was selling advertising space, which is pretty tough. I did find that quite tough.
Yeah.
Because I was quite young.
Yeah, you've got to be
yes. Have real confidence. And so I worked there, and then I saw another job advertised, which I was quite interested in, which was at a flour mill.
Oh,
Allied flour mill. Yeah, so they used to make sunblessed bread.
Right.
So I went for a job there in the transport department. Got that, and I stayed there for quite a few years.
Well, I was going to say, 'cause if you say you like being organised, that's logistics, isn't it?
Yeah. So I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
And then I got promoted to run the transport department when I was only 20. I was only 21, so I ran a transport department with about 10 lorries and about 12 lorry drivers.
Wow.
Yeah, far too young to be looking after.
But you enjoyed it? You were good at it?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that what seems to have happened in my career is that because I've always been really enthusiastic and never say no, just, whatever job I'm given, I'll do with enthusiasm, that I think that helped with the promotion. That I was keen, I was enthusiastic, and I wanted it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So then, how old were you when you left there?
About 24.
Okay.
So I'd met my future husband by then.
Right.
And he moved to Southport.
Oh.
He'd got a promotion with Allied Mills.
Okay.
That's where we met. So I moved to Southport to be with him. So I left Allied Mills and started working at. What did I do? Oh, yes, in a television and video rental.
Oh, like a,
Yeah, it was called Multi-Broadcast.
Yes, back in the day.
Yeah, and radio rentals. So,
gosh, that was so exciting going to the video shop.
Yes, yeah. So I worked there for a bit, but I wanted to better myself, and a job came up in the Yorkshire Building Society, so I went for that and got that job.
You've basically just got every job you've ever gone for then?
No, because I did go to another building society for a job previous to that, and I didn't get that. And I was quite disappointed that I didn't get that. But I started work at the building society, and then my husband's job moved him again.
Wow.
So we moved to Chester, and as a result of being at one building society, I got another job at the National Provincial.
Right.
And again, with just being enthusiastic and nice to the customers, they saw something in me and wanted me to go into financial advising.
Right.
So I did my financial planning exams and became a financial advisor.
Wow. Gosh, okay. So, and how long were you in that industry for then?
For about 6 years.
Okay.
No, 5 years. 5 years. So I worked my way up to be I was seconded to a bank in NMP became Abbey National. So
oh yes,
I was then seconded to Abbey National to do a 6-week sort of trainee bank manager role in Holyhead, and then came back and ran the Bridge Street branch in Chester.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And
so that is managerial. You're running things at that point then.
Yes.
Wow.
And then my ex-husband then moved again. We moved again. So
gosh.
Yeah, it was a lot of moving. Even there wasn't much time to settle. And the area that we're moving to, which was Northamptonshire.
Yeah.
They didn't have any openings in Abbey National close enough to where we were going. So, and I was at an age where we were both thinking about starting a family.
Yeah.
So we moved to a little village in Northamptonshire, and I just took on temporary work.
Yeah.
And then did an interior design course.
Ah.
And then started up a little interior design business with a friend.
Oh.
But instead of calling ourselves interior designers, we called ourselves home stylists.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we felt we weren't that qualified enough to be interior designers.
Okay.
And so we used to go around and restyle people's homes. Did that for a few years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I've got to, and I feel like there's a next. There's obviously a next.
Yes. So then, sadly, Mark got made redundant, and we both felt that it was a good time to reevaluate,
Right.
and whether we could join together as a little team and do something together.
Okay.
And that's when we decided to open up a retail shop. They closed, sadly, so that's when I had to rethink and relearn, and that's when I retrained. And became a beautician.
I know. I mean, gosh.
That was it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
So what I did there was
what made you think beauty then?
I needed to do something that could fit in with it. So I still needed to be self-employed.
Yeah.
Because as a single mum, 2 children, it needed to be flexible.
Yeah.
I loved doing it.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was so much fun. The customers were great, and Natalie Dam's team.
Yeah.
It was just the best few years.
Yeah.
Really, really good fun. Really supportive.
Yeah.
It was a family, a real family. There was never any falling out. It was a really lovely
little team.
Yeah, really good.
So then, just a chance chat one day then with a friend.
With a friend, and it genuinely was that I had to think about the next step, and I had been thinking that I might be coming to a point where I shouldn't be, but I should be looking for something else other than beauty.
Yeah.
And that seemed to suit in the sense that I'd never worked with animals. At that point, I did have one cat.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I just assumed that you'd had lots of cats.
I had Ernie, and I'd only had Ernie for a couple of years, my first cat. But I just thought it would be a good next step. And the business was established.
Yeah.
So the risk wasn't huge.
Yeah.
I didn't need to set a new business up. I knew the owner.
Yeah.
I knew that it was a success. And also there was room for growth. And that excited me. There was more I could do with it.
Wow, okay.
So chance meeting over coffee. We both sort of spoke aloud, and
wow,
that was it. Well, it's open 365 days a year, so we never close. 7 days a week. Yeah, we never close. Yeah.
So do you go in there on Christmas, or do you?
Yes. Yeah.
You specifically, you don't.
Yes. Yeah. Because Christmas is one of our busiest times.
Yeah.
So as a team, we go in, and it is quite fun.
Yeah.
And we go in early in the morning, so we're able to be home by lunchtime, and then we have an afternoon team go in, and we just split the day. The Christmas, we look at it as a 4-day period, and we share it.
Focusing on what you do now in terms of running the cattery, what did you have to do to kind of? I mean, getting qualified isn't really a thing, but I guess there was legalities, that kind of thing. So can you just talk? Through?
There you are inspected on an annual basis by a local council.
Yeah.
And it's quite an intense inspection.
Is it?
And you get starred, yes. So I was given at the beginning. I was given a booklet by the previous owner. Of the last
manual. You've been given a manual.
Yeah, I was given a manual of the last inspection that they had.
Right.
I only had a 2-hour training session.
You're kidding.
So I took it over on, let's say, a Monday.
Yeah.
And the owner was only able to give me 2 hours.
But available on the phone.
Available on the phone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 2 hours. And but I had the training manual.
Yeah.
So the trainer manual, I always I've adapted it since, but the trainer manual, someone once said to me, if an alien came down and needed to run the cattery, the training manual, they'd have to be able to understand.
The Bible.
It's the Bible, yeah. So I have adapted it since, so it's even more simplistic. But I had the training manual, which I'd read before the Monday start, and then I had the 2 hours training. And so I was kind of flung in at the deep end.
But you rolled the punches, so
yeah. You just, again, I think I am quite practical.
Yeah.
And so I just tried to understand what it was that the cats needed.
And the setup and the layout, all that kind of.
Absolutely. But no sooner had I started, which was in the March, that we started to get, in December, we started to get COVID issues in the December. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I'd only been running it 9 months before we had to close.
I know you have a little life in you yet. I know you have a lot of strength left. I know you have a little life in you yet.
Although we weren't forced to close.
No, well, hang on. So is this now 2021 then, or 20? Because COVID happened 2020,
yeah,
didn't it? And then it was the Easter, which I'm guessing is a key.
Yeah, so around January we started to get cancellations. So I'd only been open 9 months.
Yeah.
But during that 9 months, I'd set up the new website, the Facebook page, the Instagram, all the signage was done. I introduced extra things, and the other thing that I love doing is linking in with volunteers.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of volunteers that come, particularly with special needs.
Yeah.
So I support all the local schools for their work experience.
Yes.
Yes,
So animal welfare.
Stanford College. Yeah. Because what I wanted to do was build up a team of cat cuddlers. So we have volunteers in every day.
Oh my gosh.
We have 2 volunteers in today that are just there to groom or cat cuddle.
Wow.
So I wanted to increase that side.
Yeah.
Make the Facebook page.
And had your predecessor done that, or this was very much a you idea?
Yeah.
You were kind of thinking, right, I want to really give this lovely experience to the cats, to the owners, and obviously to be able to offer something out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's you putting together a load of things and coming up with a great solution.
Yes. Yeah. And also, what can we do to make the cats' lives better? So we introduced, so the cat cuddlers make them better, grooming kits for the cats. Facebook posts, so we try and take a picture of every cat that comes in. Sometimes that's difficult when you have 60 cats, but we try and take a picture of every cat that comes in, because there's nothing like seeing your cat on Facebook.
So technically someone can just do this as long as you've got
all
of your insurance.
Yes, so insurance for public liability.
All that kind of thing.
Employee liability. Vet cover, that kind of thing. And you need to adhere to the DEFRA regulations.
Right.
That's the Bible, so to speak.
But does anyone come and check that you're doing
that?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Annually, yes.
Okay, so this is your annual check.
So my next one's due very soon.
Yeah. And I feel like this is a bit almost like sort of, who is it that come to schools? Like
Ofsted.
Ofsted. I would say Ofsted.
It is.
It's like an Ofsted.
So strict.
Yeah.
It's so strict.
Good though, I guess, isn't it?
So really good.
Yeah.
So for example, you have to have an evacuation. So if something happened at the cattery and you had to evacuate all the cats, you have to have an evacuation procedure.
Yeah.
And
I need to know what yours is now.
Yes, again, it's like if an alien came, what do you do? So you have each cat. So we have a template which is called Cat Passport. So each cat that comes in, they have a form that is stuck to the front of their chalet, which gives them their name, what they eat, their vet's name, their parent's name, how to get in touch and under an emergency, etc., etc. That form is transferred onto what's called a passport.
Yeah.
So we would put some of that information on the passport, and then that would go with the cat to their temporary. So
you literally just push them into cat carriers.
Yeah,
you've just got to frantically.
Quickly,
you've got to put them into cat carriers.
Put them in cat carriers, but it's really important that the passport goes with them. Yeah, so the paperwork. So there's a cat evacuation, and also you need to know some of the people that you would ring. So we have a list of people that we'd ring to be able to take cats if we need to evacuate in an emergency. So cat evacuation procedure. So that's if it became unlivable. If a cat dies.
Oh gosh.
You need a-
And I'm guessing that has happened.
With me, in my last 4.5 years, once.
Right. Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah, a very
Yeah.
poorly cat.
Yeah.
Very, very poorly. Yes, once. Really sad.
Yeah.
And that's another question we ask on the form. What do we do? What
Yeah.
would you like us to do in the event of death? Yeah.
Gosh. Right.
So yeah. So there's a procedure for that.
Yeah. And then other than that, it's just a load of health and safety stuff.
Loads of help. Yeah. There's a list of procedures in the event of lost cat. What do you do in the event of lost cat?
Yes. Have you lost a cat?
No, touch
Yeah.
wood. No. But we do have a lost cat procedure.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, it's losing one. Yeah.
Biggest fear, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Mm.
Okay. So next question is, which I think we've covered quite a bit of, your inherent skills that make you good at this. And I think we've already learned you're very adaptable. You like change. You like being organised. Do you think there's anything else that's unique to you, or?
I think enthusiasm,
Yeah.
finding joy in the most mundane tasks.
Wow.
So always finding joy in whatever you do. So even if you don't enjoy your job, just find some joy in some tasks.
Okay, so the flip side of skills are what personal challenges or characteristics do you think you have that
Yeah.
make you running the business as you do difficult?
I get easily distracted.
Right.
So I have to be really strict with myself to follow a job all the way through.
And I'm guessing you haven't always done that. You've been very distracted at times.
Yeah.
So as you've got older, you've probably learnt to.
I've learnt to have a conversation with myself.
Have a word.
Yeah, and I also, timekeeping's not great, so I have to be really
Right.
strict with myself over time, and work backwards and divide the amount of, say I'm opening at 10 and I've got so many chalets, I'll divide the amount of chalets with the amount of time I've got, knowing how much time I have per chalet. So if, for example, I've got distracted with doing something and I needed to be focusing on something else,
Yeah.
and then work out how much time I've got
Yeah.
because I've been distracted with something else.
Ah,
So
okay.
timing is not great, and I'll leave things until the last minute, and then I work really well to
Under pressure.
under pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not good, and I do get easily distracted. Well, running the cattery, I'd say that the least favourite part is that it is 7 days a week,
Yeah.
and the worry that I have when I'm away.
Yes.
I just feel such a sense of responsibility for these cats that it makes it really difficult to relax when
Yeah.
I'm not with them or not at the cattery.
Yeah.
So that's the worst part of it. And the fact that there are at least 12 ways of getting in touch with me on my personal phone and the work phone.
Yeah.
I think having that constant,
You're never off then,
no,
are you?
no.
You're
So
never
that's quite tough. But yeah, I think it's just the responsibility for live animals. It's
Yeah.
quite overwhelming because they're very precious.
Yeah. What's the strangest thing? I'm going to ask this in two parts. The strangest thing that's happened in, or could be a number of strange things that's happened in your career, but I also want to know let's start with what's the strangest thing that's happened since you've been running the cattery?
Oh, I might need to pause there. That was amazing.
As in, has a cat behaved in a strange way? Has an owner been odd? Have you been given very weird instructions for a cat?
We did have a lady who said that if he has a fit, we have to stick
A thing up his
medicine up his bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not strange. I think because the crematorium is run there as well.
Okay,
So I
yes, yeah.
used to look after the crematorium as well as the cattery, which was for pets.
Yes.
I did have a client come once to say, I've come to collect Millie, and we had a cat in called Millie, and I assumed it was his cat, Millie. So I went through and picked up Millie cat,
Yeah.
took it through to him, and then he said, no, my cat's died. So, yeah, that was the... But
Did
he
it
laugh.
even
found-
look the same? Can you imagine if you'd actually, like, it was like a silver tabby and you suddenly...
I know. And he just came and said, "Oh, come to collect Millie." So I said, "Okay, no problem."
And he thought his cat had come back to life.
So I went through and got Millie, who was a live cat. But he took it all in good humour, and he laughed and said he would tell all his friends down the pub that night. So he did find that funny. So there've been a couple of funny little things. I don't know about strange.
What about pre-Cattery though? I mean, I guess working in financial services or that transportation role, weird, and it can be funny things that have happened to you.
I had one lady when I was working in the beauty business. She felt or understood that I liked doing feet, and it wasn't that I liked doing feet. It was just that I was prepared to do feet, whereas some of the other girls hated doing feet and they wouldn't do them.
Yeah.
So it was understood that I liked doing feet, and so she thought I loved doing feet.
She thought you were really into feet.
So when she came in, she said, I've kept my nails long, I've saved my feet just for you. And they were like claws.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was quite a shock. And
right.
Yeah, that was quite a shock because she thought I love feet that much.
Okay, well, I'll be honest, I was worried you were going to go down some weird, you had a foot fetish person coming in. I thought you were going to go a different way with that, so I'm glad you didn't.
No. But she had kept her toenails really long just for me.
Just for you?
Just for me, yeah, because she knew.
And you
or
really
thought
appreciate
it. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay, bit of an odd question, but in terms of if anyone is out there listening to this thinking, "Oh my God, I'd love to run a cattery," or I guess, or a kennel, or you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I guess, can you earn good money from it?
Yes.
I mean, because I'm guessing obviously there's a lot of costs involved. It goes without saying, but you know, you can earn good money from it.
Yes. Yeah. You can earn good money from it, and I've built the business to a point now where we are almost busy all year around.
Yeah.
The only reprieve we seem to get now is November and January. So you can earn good money from it.
And does that mean you have people that come quite far and wide to you? Or?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have some people that come from London.
Wow, okay.
Because they've got relatives up here.
Okay.
So rather than leave their cats down there, they do bring them us, but that's a preference.
Yeah.
We've got people that have moved away and still come to us.
Okay, what's next then?
Well,
for the business, because obviously you've adapted it clearly already a lot.
Yes.
I think what's the next 5 years? Or
I've pushed it as much as I can. Oh, I also linked in with a charity. That's another thing that I wanted to do, a local charity. So there's a charity called Mutts Nuts who rehome cats and dogs or small animals where their owners are no longer able to take care of them due to ill health or death. So we take in the Mutts Nuts cats.
Right.
And help them find homes. So that was another way of expanding the business.
Yeah.
And still being able to have cats in through quiet periods.
Yes, yeah. And then when you rehome them, did the people taking the cat have to pay a fee to rehome?
To Mutts Nuts.
Yeah. Or to you?
It's not to me, but it's an offer of goodwill. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mutts Nuts.
So basically. You don't get paid for any, or you don't get remunerated for when you're looking after them before
we do a half price charge.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so we look after them for half price.
Yeah,
so we do get remunerated half the price, but I feel that it's really good to link in with a charity that's doing the most amazing work, helping poor unwell people. Yeah, and also something we can offer to our clients with ageing clients, that there is something to help them. We do have a client whose cat comes in at the moment a lot because they're in hospital a lot.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So I've already spoken to her about this possibility that we can help.
Okay, my 2 final questions are: what advice would you give your younger self now? Because you've talked a little bit about when you were running the transport and you wish you'd had a bit more confidence, but was there any other advice that you'd like to give your younger self? Things you could have done differently?
Yeah, I think there's always regret, isn't there? And there's a big regret about my education.
Yeah. I
really, really wish that there was the opportunity to go to college and then uni. I really
feel like you missed out on.
I missed out on it, and I feel as if that was that would have given me perhaps the focus to a career.
Right.
And I think what I've lacked is a career, is following through with something. I feel as if I've adapted because I've had all these changes,
and you're brilliant at it, yeah.
Go from one place to another, or so I feel as if a university degree may have honed my sort of skill set, and I could have followed a career path. I would have loved that, and I don't know what, because there's so many things that I enjoy and appeals to me. But yeah, I would have if I had to give myself my younger self advice, it would be to study and
try that route.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay, so the final question then is about it's asking you for a bit of life advice, actually, just to throw out there into the world.
Yeah.
You as you now, knowing everything you know, what life advice would you impart on other people?
It goes back to work ethic, and that whatever you do, no matter how mundane, find the joy in it.
That joy.
And be enthusiastic and gracious and kind. It gets you to a lot of places.
Well, you've described where it,
Yeah. You will be noticed.
Yeah.
You will be promoted. You will be you will be rewarded without a doubt. Just put your energy in, no matter what that job is.
Yeah.
Because you are noticed if you are a hard worker, enthusiastic, have kindness.
Yeah.
And good grace. I do think you are rewarded in life.
Oh,
regardless of your education.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about positive mental attitude, isn't it?
Without a doubt. Yeah, everything I've ever done, I've always done enthusiastically. And it's not that I've had a chat with myself and said, right, you need to. I just seem to go in there and just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Maria.
You're welcome.
If you would like to hear more about this chat, see some behind the scenes pics and some personal profile pics, plus read about how to get started in this industry and or this role, then please go and support us on Patreon. The link is on this podcast page and across all of our socials. Sincere thanks in advance.